hundreds of U.S. combat vehicles arrive in Ukraine, Russian troops surprised by their presence. Ukraine claims it has been promised to receive at least 321 tanks of the M1 Abrams and Leopard class. That amount exceeds Ukraine's minimal need to make a breakthrough in the war. The Ukrainian ambassador in Paris, Vadim Omolchenko, said that this promise was made by various countries. Many countries officially confirmed the agreement to supply 321 tanks to Ukraine. Indeed, there is no certainty when the tanks will arrive in Ukraine. Those countries that promise tanks to Ukraine say different things while waiting for the tanks to arrive. Ukraine will focus on training its soldiers to be able to use and maintain the various tanks. For decades, Ukraine was accustomed to standard Warsaw Pact tanks. Meanwhile, the United States and its allies are now promising standard North Atlantic Treaty Organization tanks. The commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, General Valery Zaluzhnyi, once stated, his country needs at least 300 main battle tanks to make a breakthrough in the war. With Omolchenko's statement, Ukraine has exceeded Zaluzhnyi's expectations. Actually, Ukraine has received hundreds of tanks from the United States and its allies. Since the war broke out, at least 400 T-72 tanks provided by the US and its allies to Ukraine. The Soviet-era tank is lighter than the US M1 Abrams or the German-made Leopard. Some of the T-72s were bought by the US and its allies from various countries and then given to Ukraine. Some were donated by former members of the Warsaw Pact in Eastern Europe. In addition to tanks, Washington and its allies provided a variety of standard Warsaw Pact weapons and ammunition to Ukraine. The choice was taken so that the Ukrainian troops did not need to then practice using it, like Russia and a number of Eastern European countries. Ukraine was accustomed to using the standard weapons of the Warsaw Pact and the Soviet Union. In fact, some of the weapons factories are in Ukraine. Now, part of the factory is a place for assembling and maintaining various standard NATO weapons provided by the US and its allies. These facilities were frequent targets of Russian airstrikes during the nearly year-long war. Omolchenko said Ukraine understood that tanks could not be delivered immediately. This is because some of the promised tanks must be inspected and repaired again so they can be used in Ukraine. Some of the promised tanks are stored in the warehouses of various countries. This, among others, was revealed by the Minister of Defense of Spain, Margarita Robles. In Zaragoza there is a Leopard that has not been used for a long time. We will check which one can be worn in Ukraine. Madrid has not been able to confirm the number of tanks that will be sent to Kiev. Spain keeps 53 of its 108 Leopard 2 in Zaragoza. Madrid bought the tank for €17 billion in 2006. So far, Madrid may be delivering the 2A4 version of the Leopard in Zaragoza. Spain did not open up the opportunity to provide Leopard 2E to Ukraine. Nor was there an opportunity to provide the Leopard 2A4 in Ceuta and Melilla. We have communicated with related parties who are ready to fully cooperate to inspect and prepare the tanks to be sent. He did not deny that some of the Leopard 2 in Zaragoza were in a poor condition and it was impossible to send them to Ukraine. Some of them can be repaired and then sent to Kiev. After checking the warehouse in Zaragoza, it is possible that Madrid will be forced to take spare parts from tanks that are no longer possible to repair. Robles also said Spain was ready to help train Ukrainian troops to use and care for the Leopard. Similar offers have been made by a number of countries. Practice is as important as delivery. Former commander of the U.S. Operations Command in Europe, General Pern Frederick Hodges, said the same thing. Use and care training is very important to ensure the continued operation of various weapons. Apart from that, Ukraine also needs to be aware not to rely only on tanks. There is no ultimate weapon in war. All weapons are effective only when used in conjunction with various other types. Panzers like Bradley or Marder were used with tanks for better hitting. The ability to operate the combat group must be trained, he said. He also reminded it is very important to ensure the supply line of spare parts. It is not possible for NATO to send its soldiers to deliver spare parts and maintain the various weapons supplied to Ukraine. The closest point for NATO supplies to Ukraine is at the Rzeszów base, Poland. From there, various weapons and spare parts and ammunition were sent by train and car to Ukraine. Germany's attitude, meanwhile, Germany did not only allow and give Leopard to Ukraine. Berlin also announced the delivery of new missiles for the Iris-T air defense artillery, Arhanad. Germany gave the Arhanad to Ukraine after one of the Ukrainian Arhanad missiles crashed and exploded in Poland. Berlin also gave a number of trucks and various weapons transport vehicles to Kiev. Germany is now preparing to ship 14 Leopards to Ukraine. It is not yet known when the tanks will be received by Ukraine. Berlin will also deliver 2 additional TRML-4D air defense radar units in the next 4 months. In October 2022, Kiev received 1 TRML-4D unit. The Secretary General of the German Social Democratic Party, SPD, Kevin Kühnert, said, "There is no need to limit the use of tanks donated to Kiev. Ukraine is trying to reclaim its territory. Therefore, Ukraine should not be prevented from using the Leopard to reclaim the Crimean Peninsula from Russia." For Germany and many other countries, the Crimean Peninsula is Ukrainian territory. The aim of this war has been stated in Ukraine to recover all of its territory occupied by Russia.
Military Combat News newspaper brings you the latest breaking news videos and explainers from the UK and around the world. Be a loyal subscriber of Military Battle News and press the bell to be first on our news.